And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thomson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
All right, well, welcome to the Weighing In podcast, where we're going to go over all the upcoming fights that are happening. We've got a ton. We've got the UFC. We've got Bellator from the City of Lights, Paris, France. And we also have from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the heavyweight championship of the world. Tyson Fury taking on Alexander Usyk. That is one hell of a matchup. I'm not too sure who's going to win that one, but we're going to talk about it. My man, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You know what else we have? We got some element, baby. We got some element.
Yeah,
that's what we got
baby.
right there. Element. That's right. You see that right there? 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and then 60 of magnesium. I'm telling you guys, man, right? I just got done with my nice long run. Did about 4 miles. Got a quick little burpee, devil press, and renegade row workout in. It was pretty nice, a little intense. I'm feeling kind of swole right now. I'm feeling kind of swole.
Swole? You ain't swole, dude.
I got to do this to make my neck look big again because I've all shrunk it all down.
Dude, mine's all
It's all shrunk. It's ridiculous.
All the surgeries made mine turn into a pencil.
Oh, man.
That's why you're a pencil neck geek.
I'm always flexing, man. I'm always flexing. Got to be flexing.
I know. It's not working either.
I know. You know what, though? It is. It is.
It's not.
I bought this
really
thing,
not.
John.
It's really not.
Have you seen that? Have you seen those new bite down like gummy things that you bite on to like keep the structure of your jaw and your facial features?
Yeah.
So a guy who owns the company, he's like, "Hey, can I send you one?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he's gonna send me over a couple. I'm all right. Let me check them out.
Thanks, partner.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, you need him. Like, what are you laughing at, George? You're gonna look like Droopy over here himself. Is that why you grow your beard underneath and not on your face? It just hangs from down below.
It kind of does that on its own.
I was going to say, it just won't grow up.
It doesn't
here,
grow up here? Because honestly, it droops a little bit down there. It just looks like two of my balls with some hair on them. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at you. Oh, little butt chin. I love that. I got a little butt chin, too. I got a little butt. Look at that. See? Got a little butt chin.
You got a little Uriah Faber.
Yeah, I got a little. Yep. All right, well, hey, let's go ahead and just jump right into this, man. Let's jump right into UFC this weekend. You got Edson Barboza versus Lerone Murphy. Man, I mean,
I'll tell you what.
This can be a sneaky
matchup.
good card, John.
This is a great matchup. I'm telling you, Lerone Murphy is freaking good. In the stand-up, that dude is everything that, do you remember when Edson Barboza first came out in the UFC and watching him? Mm-hmm. And it was like one of those, God damn, this dude, his technique is just incredible. He's fast, explosive, and did everything so well. Well, Lerone Murphy is a damn carbon copy because, man, he is good in the stand-up. It's crazy how good he is. So, yeah, Lerone Murphy's at the beginning of his career. Edson Barboza, he's not that old, but still, it's coming up towards, the latter stages. He's 38 years of age. And so I look at this. I think it's a great matchup. But, man, you got to give Lerone Murphy's got to be the favorite in this.
Yeah, when I look at this fight, I think the speed, the agility, the movement, that's where they're different. Where Edson Barboza does not, he kind of just takes the center of the cage, kind of stalks after you, tries to touch you with the leg.
Very Muay Thai.
Yeah, very Muay Thai like. You are right. Lerone Murphy is not that way. Lerone Murphy uses a lot of his athleticism, the speed, the straight punches. If he's able to land the straight punches right down the middle, I think that it's going to give Barboza a lot of problems. Because Barboza needs you to step into that pocket to land his body shots and his hooks, a little bit of his overhand rights, maybe some uppercut to his hooks again, and then mix in with the vicious kicks as you try to exit out, which is what he does very well. I look at Edson, man, you're right. He is getting a little bit older in terms of the output isn't what it was. And even when he was at the top of the food chain, he still in the later rounds would start to slow down, because he throws everything with such power.
Yeah, because, he's fast twitch muscle fiber athlete.
Yeah.
And, what do you expect? But, man, he's got heart, and he never quits.
No, he doesn't.
It's one of those guys when you take a look at someone and you say, man, when he's a hammer, it's scary how much he punishes people. But, I've seen him be the nail in certain situations, and, man, he just keeps fighting. He never gives up.
Yeah, he was one of those guys. What was his fight with Khabib, man? Everyone's like, oh, he's gonna knock Khabib out. His takedown defense is getting good enough now, and man,
I did that fight.
yeah, but there was a lot of talk that Khabib got rocked in that fight. I don't think he was rocked.
No, the one that Khabib got rocked in is he got rocked against
Michael Johnson.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I did that fight too, and he got rocked.
Yeah, I didn't see the rock because it was a spinning kick and it landed with the calf kind of on the side of the head. Just kind of knocked him off balance a little bit.
Yeah, it was balanced.
Yeah.
It had nothing. He wasn't
Yeah,
hurt.
you hit me at the top of my head and it's the calf. Kind of like the whole leg kind of just throws me off. He wasn't rocked.
Yeah.
But look, I'm looking forward to this fight. It's going to be a great fight. We're going to see exactly as the fight goes on. Can Lerone Murphy, though, throw with that amount of speed and that much power throughout the whole fight? 5 rounds.
I know.
And
it is the question that I haven't seen Lerone Murphy go that far in a fight. Yep. I have seen him go in the 3 rounds, but man, I'll tell you what, this guy's just good everywhere. He's 5-0 in the UFC now, I want to say, and he's just. I haven't seen a whole lot that you could complain about. His actual takedown defense, when someone does try to take him down, he does a good job with that. He's fought really guys that I look at as good wrestlers. Americani. When he fought him, I thought, okay, this is going to say a lot. No, knocked him out in the first. I want to say somewhere around 10 seconds of the second round or something like that. It was crazy. So. He's got all the skills needed. He's that good.
Caleb Williams versus Carlston Harris.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. This one is Chaos is fun to watch. Strong, he's got power, but Carlston Harris is freaking good. I think he's got only 1 loss in the UFC, and that's to Shavkat. When you're talking about Rakhmonov, you're talking about a different level with a lot of guys, and so. This is a really good matchup when you're looking at it. I don't think that I think that Harris overall has got the better technical game. I think Chaos has got the power and the strength, and he's got heart. He'll go after you and stuff. So this is just one of those that either guy can win this.
Chaos fights the best when he's creating chaos.
Yeah,
and that's why they call him Chaos. I would imagine in the gym and around the circuit, you got to create the chaos. Some guys rise out of that, and he seems like he's one of them. Look, there's just certain guys when they realize, who was the one that just fought last weekend? Man, I forgot who it was. Him and it was like a tall. He fought like a taller guy, and the two. Remember, he was just chasing after him. God, who?
Oh, Trey Waters and.
Goff.
Goff. Thank you. Billy
Yeah, Goff just couldn't get in, but look, he had to create chaos to make the fight close.
But he was doing that.
And I thought it was a great fight. I actually thought he won the fight. But he didn't get the nod. But look, you have to create that kind of chaos, and some guys thrive on that. Some guys work off of that. They understand where the scramble is. They understand where the positioning of the body is. Okay, when he does this, I'm going to throw a shot here that most people don't expect. And most people, wouldn't expect me to land that or be able to do it from this position. And I do it, and then that's what gets me, starts getting the ball rolling in terms of my striking, or start making them fear me a little bit more. And so, I lean a little bit more towards Chaos in this fight, only because he'll make it a grimy fight. He won't allow Harris to go ahead and be technical with it. He's going to make some chaos in that cage, and that just makes it more viewer friendly for us.
No, it is. That's a fun. That makes it why it's fun. So I agree with you.
Next fight.
Oh, we've got what is it? Temba Gorbimo against. Oh my God, who's he fighting?
Brahimaj.
Yeah, this guy reminds me of Carl Parisian every time I look at him. He's good though. I mean, this is one of those. I believe that Gorbimo is 2-1 in the UFC, and Brahimaj is just. He's good. I mean, this is I don't know who's going to win this fight. I'm not leaning either way, based upon both guys are good everywhere. Both guys have their strengths. I think Themba needs to absolutely keep it on the feet and use that speed that he has. But Brahimaj, he's a dog, man. He's tough as hell. He just keeps on coming forward. He's out of Fortis MMA, I believe.
Oh yeah. You get the next fight, Adrian Yanez versus Vinicius Salvador.
Yeah. Dude, Yanez, he's a fucking stud. He's a guy that he's just fast. He fights in the stand-up anywhere with anybody, but he can be taken down, and usually that's the problem for him if it ends up being taken down. But his stand-up, man, is slick, and it's fun to watch. Salvador, same thing. He's a stand-up guy for the most part too, but he's got a good ground game.
Yeah.
But he'll stand with you. And I think if he stands with Yanez, he's making a mistake. This is one of the ones, hey, use fight IQ and say, I'm not going to sit here and prove to you anything. I'm going to take you where I know I'm stronger and where I'm better, and I'm going to put you on the ground. I'm going to beat you up there. Yeah,
Yanez is someone that exploded on the scene. He's kind of started falling back a little bit. Like, you can just see, like, people have started to figure him out.
Yeah, they're taking him down.
Yep, and they understand, like, hey, on the feet, like, you're dangerous. On the ground, I have a little bit more of an advantage. Maybe you're going to get out a couple times, but can you keep doing it? Can you keep stuffing the takedowns? And also, too, when I start taking you down and I start threatening the takedown, it starts to slow your stand-up down. You get a little more hesitant. You don't let the combinations come out fluidly, and they figured him out. So he's going to have to make some changes. I know he was working with Rafian Stotts for a while, at the wrestling department.
Yep.
And they were brainstorming and getting things together. I mean, they both kind of were having big ups during that time, and they actually both kind of started having some downs around the same time. So, as one person in the gym starts to lose, another person may start to lose, and it becomes a little bit like cancerous. They've got to get back on track, and when they get back on track, they start to grow together. And so,
and I think both of them are coming off of a 2-fight losing streak. So this is one of those ones where the UFC is kind of in that position of, all right, let's see what you got. I will say that I do believe that Yanez has fought the better competition in the UFC.
Absolutely.
His last 2 losses are to Rob Font and Jonathan Martinez, who, look, Jonathan Martinez, he lost his last fight to Aldo. Mm. But, let's be honest.
Oh, rough.
The guy's a stud. Yeah.
Oh, rough.
So, Yanez just needs to go out there and be who he is. I think he's the favorite.
Our girl Angela Hill is making her return back into the cage against Luana Pinheiro.
Yeah, look, right now, Angela Hill is fighting better than she's ever.
Yes.
Absolutely. She's able to keep the fight where she wants, because it used to be she was a complete stand-up fighter. Did nothing but try to keep the fight standing, and if she couldn't, she was losing. And over time, she has learned how to wrestle. She can take people down when she wants. She's got a good top game. Even on the bottom, she threatens people now. And she's not just that person looking just to get back to her feet. She can actually decide, do I want to try to submit? Do I want to try to reverse? Or am I going to get back to my feet? Pinheiro is good everywhere. I don't think she's as good in the stand-up. And I honestly don't think that she has the same amount of experience needed to beat Angela Hill at this point.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. I think Angela Hill right now, she has lost so many fights that she should have potentially have won.
Oh, by this, yeah. Or she should have won.
She should have won, or just even split decisions that could have went either way, without even calling them robbery. She just it just got so close. And I feel bad because her career would be a completely different story had she won 1 or 2 of those fights. Would have put her in a totally different atmosphere inside that weight division. Is there any other prelims on this fight you wanted to talk about? I also feel like this is one of those sneaky good fights cards where, look, there's not a lot of name value to them, but I think stylistically the matchups are going to be fun. But in this situation, some of them are coming off of each a loss or 2 losses, and so they've matched them up. So look for these fighters to fight their asses off, making sure they can keep their contracts. So look for some action-packed fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody you want to give honorable mentions to in this on the prelims here?
Look at you got to say that Abus Magomedov he's a good fighter. He's lanky, he's tall, he's good in the stand up. He's only lost to the very best when it comes to Sean Strickland was able to have his way with him after the first round.
Yeah, he looked fantastic in that first round.
Yes,
he looks great.
The first round, that's the whole point. He's going up against Worley Alves, who Worley Alves has beaten people like Colby Covington. And he's looked great. He's moved up in weight. And
that's probably why he looks great.
He's got power. He's fast. He's got power. So I think this is a tough matchup for him, but he does have the ability, and he's got the skill set to win the fight. So I think that's actually a really good matchup.
Nice. The fight that I was really looking forward to seeing was the Tim Elliott and Tatsuro, I don't know how to say his name, Tara. But that fight got canceled, so that one's gone. Yeah. Emily Ducote also, she was fighting Bellator. We know her. She came out, had a great performance her first fight. Then her last fight, I believe she had coming off of a tough loss. Took a lot of damage in that fight. Against, how do you say this girl's last name?
Demopoulos.
Vanessa Demopoulos.
Vanessa's got a hell of a grappling game. She is good on the ground. Really comes out of like 10th Planet, I believe, is where she's out of. But she's very slick on the ground and everything. Emily is a person like that we know. She'll go anywhere, but if she can be caught, it's usually going to be in the submission game on the ground. And so I look at this as Emily needs to keep it on the feet, and Vanessa needs to take this to the ground.
I agree with you 100%. All right, hey, we're going to move on to the Bellator event that is going on this weekend as well. So you got Bellator. The main event is Patchy Mix versus Magomedov. This is a rematch. This is their second fight. In the first fight, Patchy Mix does what Patchy Mix does. Okay? He pushes you. He makes you make a mistake. And then when you shoot in, you leave your neck, your head, your back, whatever it is, in the wrong place. And he jumped on that guillotine real quick, snatched it up and snatched his soul and took him home. And that's what he did in that fight. He put him to sleep. Magomedov, look, he doesn't have a lot of losses. What's he got? 3 losses?
Three losses.
One of them is to Peter Yan. First guy to beat.
Yan,
go ahead.
Yeah.
And then his next one was to Rafael Stotts, right?
Rafael Stotts in a decision.
And then he lost to Patchy Mix in the tournament where he got caught in the guillotine.
The only time he's been finished.
Yeah, only time he's been. Look, this is going to be a dynamic fight. And I've said so many times how damn good Patchy Mix is. I think he's the best bantamweight in the world. I think that he can beat Sean O'Malley. I think, look, anybody can beat anybody on any given night, but I think Patchy Mix can beat Sean O'Malley. I think Patchy Mix with Merab would be a very tough fight. Have to deal with that. But Merab also being a wrestler, wanting to get him down, all of those things would make for a very interesting fight. In this fight, Magomedov has switched his camps. He is now training at Habib's camp in Dagestan. That will be a huge upside for him. He's got so many guys for him to train with, a little bit closer to home, just feeling comfortable. I honestly believe that you're going to see a different Magomedov this fight. And I don't know how they're going to approach this fight, but I think they're going to try to keep this fight on the feet. I don't think they're going to try to take
as much as possible.
I don't think they're going to try to take him down at all. And they're going to just try to stick and move. Look, Magomedov is someone that has that. It's the funky style stand-up.
He's got a good stand-up game, though, Josh. I mean, he's got a ton of spinning attacks.
Yep.
He's got a lot of that Taekwondo background that a lot of people don't think that from Dagestan that they do Taekwondo. They do Taekwondo. That's a big art there.
Umar Nurmagomedov. Look at that's the style of which that they fight. Those are perfect examples.
I mean, he has got a very well-rounded stand-up game. He doesn't have that one-punch knockout power. Doesn't have it. But I'll tell you what, he can volume you to death. It's just that his just who he is eventually he wants to take you to the ground. He wants to control you. He wants to put pressure on you. He wants to break you down. He's got to get out of that mindset and say, this is a guy, I'm going to do everything in my power to utilize all of my wrestling and everything that I've done for my whole life to keep it on my feet. Because if I'm on my feet, I believe I have an advantage. If I'm on the ground, I'm not too sure I have that advantage. Yeah. I'm not going to give this guy that chance. And that's the way for Magomed to win it. I think it's the right game plan. Patchy, you got to give him credit, though, and you got to be honest. His stand-up is getting better and better because at one time it wasn't very good. Mm-hmm. He was so dominant on the ground, he could get people to the ground, and he was winning it. And then he had the fight with Juan Archuleta that I think taught him a lesson in, well, I didn't fight smart. I went after things the wrong way, and then when it was stuck on my feet, I was not prepared to set things up and put myself in a position to win it while on the feet. Now he's getting there.
Yeah, but in that fight, it was the conditioning and the cardio that got to him. He thought he was going to just be able to keep doing what you're doing for a 5-round fight, and nothing's going to change. I'm going to get him out of here in the first 2 rounds, which if you go back and watch the Juan Archuleta fight, his one loss, he had dominant control of the first 2 rounds. It was the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round where he just didn't have the energy or the ability to get the fight back down to the ground anymore. And so once that went away, he just became target practice, started making mistakes, got frustrated with himself inside the cage. And since then, we haven't seen that person. He has been a completely different fighter. Fight IQ is off the charts. This is, to me, this is the battle between probably the two, I'd say number one bantamweight in the world. He's 5'11". Patchy Mix is 5'11", 135 pounds. Cuts a lot of weight, but still.
He's a big 135er.
He's a big 135er. He's physically strong. And I've seen him training with everybody. You know, Olympic gold medalist, you know.
No, hold it. Not only, when you say everybody, you're not just talking about everybody in the 135, 145 pound weight class. This dude he's grappling with light heavyweights. I mean, guys that are in the UFC, light heavyweights, he goes out there and he submits them.
I don't know how smart that is, but.
Well, he's got that. He's called the human backpack for a reason. When everyone's got that certain thing, and the way they do it, you've got to be prepared for the way they do it. And when you're not, it catches you. It's something you're not in that position to stop. And he's just slick on the ground.
I agree. All right, Jaleel Willis versus Cedric Doumbé. This is a last-minute replacement with Jaleel Willis coming in 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that.
Yep.
There's a little bit of bad blood between these two. Jaleel Willis being very vocal about, I'm going to dominate him. I'm going to just crush him. This guy doesn't belong on me. It doesn't belong on my level. Doumbé obviously being Doumbé, and we're going to see, brother. You're in Paris.
Cedric Doumbé is fun, and you are in his backyard. You're in his hometown. But, Cedric Doumbé is coming off of a loss that he doesn't feel like he should have gotten the loss, and it was based upon he got a damn splinter or something in his foot, and he tried to motion it to the referee, and the referee saying, hey, you need to fight on. And there was some back and forth, and finally he shows him again, and referee made the right decision. Cedric did not understand. You don't get a timeout, man. All those fights, yes, it's weird when all of a sudden you get something in your foot, but you just got to fight your way through it to get yourself back to the corner so you can take that thing out or whatever is bothering you and stuff. So I think he's got a lot to prove in this fight. He is a phenomenal fighter. His stand-up game is outstanding, and he's shown that his wrestling has gotten really good. Jaleel Willis is a guy, he's got good stand-up. He's got very good boxing. He's not a kickboxer, he's a boxer. So if he wants to be in the stand-up in this, he's got to bring it outside of the kickboxing range into the boxing range. Meaning he's got to step in that pocket, which makes Cedric Doumbé very dangerous for him, but he's got to do that. He's got the ability to wrestle, and he needs to use that wrestling
but he
against
won't.
Doumbé. I don't think he will either, I'm being honest. And I look at it and I go, you at least have to threaten those and make him think. I don't care if you take him down and then stand back up, even though that would be really stupid. But make him know that I will take you down in this fight because it will help your offense.
Well, Jaleel Willis, I believe, made his move over to Killcliff. I think he's at Killcliff now 100%. So that's good for him. He's got plenty of guys in that weight class for him to work with. You got Logan Storley. You got top-level Jason Jackson. I mean, you got world-class guys that are there that will help him develop or kind of recreate how he enters in for his takedowns from his stand-up. So I'm looking to see a new, invigorated and new fighter out of Jaleel Willis. And I think it's the textbook opponent for him. Cedric Doumbé is obviously world-class on the feet, but I don't need to fight you on the feet. That's why this is MMA. Don't fight these guys in their strengths. I'm hoping that he takes a page out of one of these wrestlers' books and just goes out because he can wrestle. He's got good wrestling.
He can.
Yeah, look at him. Look, he fought my boy Kyle Kretschmer, and I was like, man, he made sure that Kyle couldn't take him down, and the fight was close. It was back and forth, but Kyle just wasn't able to do any damage on the feet. But Kyle couldn't get the takedowns either, and it just made it easier for the judges to give it to Jaleel Willis. Yeah. That's the fight. That's all he's got to do. Yeah. This time he's got to be the one getting the takedowns instead of stuffing the takedowns, and he can do it.
That's exactly it.
So just fight that smart fight.
All right, Gregory Babene against Costello Van Steenis, someone that you absolutely love.
I love him. He's a good dude, man. He's a great guy. So fun to watch fight. He came back after that long knee injury, and he had a great performance his first fight. Second fight back, didn't do great. You could tell like there was still a little bit, not ring rust, just understanding the speed of the game again, getting back into the routine of constantly training.
That I agree with.
I don't want to make excuses for him because I talked to him afterwards. He's like, yeah, I just dropped the ball, man. Just wasn't my night, and just I couldn't get it done. And he understands what happened. So hopefully he fixes it. But I think this is a very winnable fight for him against Babene, and it's gonna be a fun fight.
I think Babene. First off, I know Babene is undefeated since coming to Bellator. I want to say since coming to Bellator, he had a fight in Bellator early on in his career, and then he wasn't part of it, and then he came back. But his submission game is outstanding. He is absolutely a world-class grappler on the ground. People don't give him credit for it. He is that good. He's slick. Got the armbar against Charlie Ward, I believe, in his last fight. But Van Steenis is a guy he reminds me of Carlos Condit. He's nasty. He's got that nasty side to him. He's got good stand-up. He's vicious with his elbows and knees. He'll get to the ground. His ground and pound is just phenomenal. I think Carlos may have been a better submission guy, but he's good with his submissions, and he's going to have to use that submission defense if it ends up on the ground. He's got to be careful of when he decides to open up against Babene, but that's a good matchup.
Yves Landau, I just got to give him honorable mention because of the breakdancing. He's going to come out and do some great dancing. He can break dance in the beginning. He'll break dance at the end. He's fun to watch fight. I don't know anything about Billarino.
Yeah, Bellarino is very good stand-up, good ground game. He's going to have to figure out a way to get in on Yves as far as Yves is the better athlete. He's the faster athlete, even though he's the older guy. But he is a good athlete and very hard to control based upon all that, ability to move his body like he does in the breakdancing stuff. He sometimes does weird things to get himself out of these scrambles and back to his feet where he normally wants to be. But lately, Yves Landau has been taking people down and actually using his ground game, so we're going to see where it's at. But that's a good matchup.
One of the guys that I'm really high on right now is Archie Colgan. Archie Colgan is the man. He's fighting Gouti, which is he's a stud as well. This is going to be a fun fight. It's a big step up in competition, though, too, for Archie Colgan.
Absolutely, it is. And, Thibaut Gouti is good. He's a solid fighter. He's good in the stand-up. He's got a good ground game. He hits like a truck when he actually sets his feet and decides to, go after his opponent. Archie has got phenomenal wrestling, and he hits like a truck. He's got power. He's got a short reach, though, and he's going to have to get inside on Gouti. But I would, like to see him establish his wrestling at certain points in this fight. Take him to the ground, beat him up on the ground, slow him down, and then if you want to be in the stand-up with him, that's when you do it.
Archie Colgan reminds me a little bit of a Sean Shirk.
Yeah.
Short and stocky, looks small for the weight, shouldn't be probably fighting at 55, should probably be a 45-pounder, doesn't want to cut the weight. He's already made
I don't know. He's pretty heavily muscled.
He's muscled. I never had that problem, so I just, I get a little jealous when I see these guys.
At one time, you actually did. Now?
No, there's no neck. No neck. Monsieur Barnaoui, he's a 55-pounder, but I love watching him fight. He's a dog. His fight with Brent Primus, probably one of the most exciting fights I've seen, especially calling it cage side. They were just elbowing each other, punching each other in the face, like a true fight with no technique. There was a lot of technique.
His fight with J.J. Wilson was fantastic.
That's true as well. Very true. So good. He's someone that is all the way around. You look at him, though, John, you're like, that guy doesn't look like he's going to hurt anybody. Then he came out and was just grabbing the back of Brent Primus's head and just laying elbows to his face. Just bam, bam. And then literally made Brent Primus look like Keto George. Just at the end, just like all, Elephant Man looking. So it was fantastic.
George, you don't have to take that.
Don't worry. Hey, George, I don't want you feeling bad, buddy. I do this stuff to Podcast Dave all the time. Everyone in the comments they're gonna get mad at me too because I always brag on Podcast Dave. Like, man, stop picking on Podcast Dave. I'm not gonna listen anymore. And I'm like, oh, you guys will be okay. Calm down. Calm down. Keto, they love you though. Right. They love you, Keto.
Mshafi Aliev against Mike Shipman. Mike Shipman is a guy that, he was on a huge unbeaten streak for a while. That kind of went away. He's tough. He's strong. He's physically a very strong fighter. But Aliev is someone we've watched, and man, he's good everywhere.
Yeah.
He's good wrestling, good stand-up. He's going to be a scary dude for a lot of people in Bellator.
He's a shorter, stockier guy. He's not easy to get in on. He will take you down if he needs to. He can keep it on the feet. He can move.
He'll keep it on the feet.
Yeah, he's everywhere, though.
He's not afraid to.
No, he's not. But he's also not someone that you can just run in and get a takedown against. He's just a stud everywhere. Yeah. Anybody else on here you want to talk about?
Aspen Ladd is going to be up against Shakalova. That's actually going to be a good fight, but Aspen Ladd is someone that we've seen time and time again. At 145, she tends to fight actually really well.
She does, but Shakalova is going to be
but
good.
She starts slow.
Yeah.
She starts slow.
Shakalova's 8-1, and look, Aspen Ladd, she does start slow. She will give away probably the first round. If Shakalova can continue to build on that, she could probably run away with this fight. Because it's not like Aspen Ladd's going to put too much pressure on to try to win the rounds back. She's going to just try to ink out the rounds as she does.
That's what she does.
That's what she does. You know what? There's a huge boxing match this weekend, I've heard. George.
Oh, my God.
George.
Come on.
Who are the two guys? I can't remember their names. What are their names again that are fighting boxing this weekend? Go ahead. Talk to us, Goose.
Just the two little guys. One named Tyson Fury. One named Usyk.
Ooh.
Alexander Usyk.
Damn. Did you see the mix-up?
Yeah.
George, can you see if you can pull up the mix-up with his dad? His dad headbutted some dude.
John Fury?
Yeah. His dad headbutted some dude this morning or yesterday or something, and the blood trickling down his face. And I think it looked like he headbutted like a little kid. The kid was maybe like 21, 22. I don't know. They're from the UK, man. They all look like kids to me in the UK.
I'm telling you, man. I just had my bulls fighting, and one of them's got a big old bloody nose now because of it. You got to be careful of those headbutts, Josh. I don't know if you've ever dealt with one of them.
This was on his forehead, though. There he is.
That's what I said.
Look at. There you go. And then I think he might already be bleeding here. He's wild, man. He's wild. But there's a headbutt in the mix. We have to get George to find it and try to put it up for you guys to view. Yeah, he got into an altercation with, it looked like a young kid. Yeah, there he is.
Oh,
Wonderful.
I love it.
Why doesn't he just get in there and fight?
He has.
No, I know, but I want to see it now. Let's go. Him and Mike Tyson.
What have I told you?
Him and Mike Tyson.
What have I told you?
Well, I want to see old people fight.
What? Yeah, you know what watching old people fight is like?
Watching old people fight. That's what it's like.
No. Watching old people fight is like watching old people fuck. You think you want to see it until you're seeing it, and you go, what the fuck am I looking at? Okay?
This is true.
George, remember that.
Oh, George. I mean, it was a little weird. Like, back in the day when Nina Hartley, she was getting older, it was a little bit tougher to watch her do porn.
Yeah, you see? It's like, I'm done.
No, that's way before George's time.
You don't think about that till after you're done.
No, you don't. It only took me about 30 seconds, though, so we were quick. It was in and out. Oh, man. But look, this is the fight everyone's been waiting for. They pushed it back, All
right, talk to me, Goose. How do you see it? I have talked with more people about this fight, and some, like I have a lot of people that are very big in the boxing world that can talk about. This is a 50-50.
Oh, no.
There are people, I'm telling you, there are people that absolutely believe that Tyson Fury is going to run away with this. And there's people that absolutely believe that Usyk is going to fucking toy with it. I'm like, wow. It's not what I thought, but okay.
Okay, well, you tell me what you think.
I think anytime, and you go to just the laws of physics, and when you have two people that are outstanding at what they do, and one's a big man and one's a small man, usually the big man wins. Just being honest.
Okay.
So,
this is what I think. I think that there was a little. There you go. Here it is. Let's see. Sorry. Watch. It's this guy right here pushing. But
well,
then, no. Watch. Keep going, John. There was an actual headbutt that he throws. That wasn't it yet. I don't think.
Well, they were bumping heads.
No, they were pushing heads. But this is one where he actually takes a step back and like headbutts somebody. Did you watch it through already?
That's hard to see. It's kind of cockeyed there.
It's cockeyed. There it is.
Oh, there
right
it was,
there.
right there. So it was Fury that actually did it.
Yes.
Which tells you he does not know how to throw a headbutt when you're fucking cracking your own fucking noggin open.
Right in the forehead, right here.
First off, you don't fucking butt with the front part of your head.
Gotta use the
right
top.
here to the side. Right here.
Oh, really? The side? I thought it was the top.
Oh, absolutely. Right here.
I thought it was like in the hairline.
No. Come on, man. You got to do it right.
All right. He's a gypsy,
heart to
though.
heart.
They don't care. This is how I see this fight going.
He's been watching too many movies.
I think that Tyson Fury, after the Francis Ngannou fight, he's went back to the drawing board and not so much like he's in like, oh, I've got to make all these changes. No, I've got to take every fighter serious.
Yes.
And I think it could have been a godsend for him being like, hey, He might be smaller. He's going to be quicker than me. He's going to be able to box on the inside. Every time he gets close, I've got to hang on his head. I've got to make him carry my weight. I've got to make him.
There you go.
I've got to press him to the center or to the corner. I've got to just drape on him until the ref breaks us to really try to slow him down. I think that Tyson really, after the Ngannou fight, he got so much heat for, you were out of shape, you weren't ready, you thought he was you thought it was a cakewalk.
True.
All of those things. Did you see the
But
pictures?
all those things are true.
Did you see the pictures? George, pull up the pictures of him. He's not, I can't say shredded. He's not shredded.
He's never been
but
shredded.
he's pretty damn lean for somebody
looking
for
good.
his size. Yeah. So I look at that and I look at what happened to him with the Ngannou fight. I think you're going to see a different Tyson Fury. He's going to come out. He's not going to play around. He's going to really try to hang on him. He's going to just try to wear him down and touch him up with the long range jab. Now that doesn't mean that Usyk can't slip, get his head off center line and counter with some good shots. But does he have the power like a Wilder to put him down? I don't think he does.
No.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's a man's man right there.
It's a man's man right there.
Yeah, that's the body of a fucking world-class fighter. That is.
I used to have one from him at a pool where I go, yeah, and this is a world-class body right
Yeah.
You're looking at
If you
But you take a look, and this when I say that, the big man, it is all those things. And you can go and people are trying to compare Usyk when he fought Anthony Joshua. Completely different fighters. You can Anthony Joshua does not live off of just voluming you. He wants to set you up and land a big right hand. He does it all the time, and he's very good with it. Okay? But you've got to look and say, all of that is a good setup for Usyk. When you look at Fury just puts shots on you. All shots from different angles. He just keeps on touching. That's the picture right there. That's the one. Right there. That's
a whole lot of man right
boxing.
there. If I was to put a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger up next to him, you'd be like, guess which one is the fucking baddest man on the fucking earth?
Guess which one's gonna fucking make the other one fucking go to sleep.
That's hilarious.
But you look and you go, Usyk gives problems to everyone. He's that good. He is a problem maker. He is a guy, he's got a ton of just swagger to him in the way he moves. His footwork is fantastic. He's got great head movement inside. But the size is, when you talked about hanging on him, you're going to see Fury hang on Usyk every chance he gets. He's going to be putting pressure and making him carry weight. If Usyk, ends up where he gets close and he's going to grab him and just sag on him, and tell that referee, and it's going to be a good 4 to 5 seconds, that referee can try to force him apart. It's going to be Usyk holding all of that weight and everything. And over 12 rounds, that wears on you. That wears on you big time.
Yeah, he's been known to go ahead and have the conditioning, the cardio to carry people's weight before, though. He's not a big heavyweight. He knows that.
No, he's not.
And so creating angles, not allowing himself to get stuck into the clinch, keeping his elbows tight, and keeping his head offline, stepping to the outside.
You realize what the reach is going to be, the difference.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I can't imagine it being any less than 10 inches.
It's going to be at least 8 inches.
Yeah. And that's a lot, man. That's what she said. It's a lot. 8 inches is a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Overall, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great fight. But what I love, how much do you think this plays a factor, though? Like when you start seeing his dad do things like this, do you think that messes with his mind at all?
No, I don't.
Like your dad's out there doing that.
His dad's been out there doing that since he was a young kid.
And he said though when he was younger, he had some mental issues though. Because just everything in life. I mean, that can't help.
I'm not saying what helps or not, but he's lived with it his entire life. It's not something new. It's not going to bother him.
Yeah, winning solves everything.
Right now, name the guy that's beaten Tyson Fury. That's what I thought.
Who's beat him?
Nobody.
I thought someone did beat him. Didn't someone named Collins or
Nope.
Coughlin, something like that win?
Negative.
All right, so
he's got a draw against Deontay Wilder that first fight.
Which he should have won that first fight.
Well, I don't know about that.
He got dropped in the what?
He got dropped twice.
Oh, that's
in the
right.
12th round, he got dropped big time.
That was crazy. But I don't give more points because he got dropped big time versus he got dropped. It's the same drop.
Still, he gave it the Undertaker drill to come up.
Do you think they should get rid of the automatic 10-9 or 10-8?
10-8? No.
No? For knockdowns, you don't think they should?
No, because it's you got to figure in boxing that knockdown is a home run. Okay? Everything with the boxer is stay on my feet.
What's the reach?
Okay?
Speak it to me there.
Talk to us, George. What is it?
1 second.
Jesus, come on, George.
So, anyways, everything is about staying on your feet. So that's the home run. And so it makes a difference.
Well, like
85.
He's got an 85-inch reach.
Fury
and
does.
Then what does Usyk have?
What is Usyk's?
Usyk has a 78.
Oh wow, that's still just 7 inches. That's still a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot.
I wish I had extra 7 inches.
Don't we all?
Trust
my
me,
friend.
you need an extra 7 inches.
Look, if I got an extra 7 inches, I'd never have I'd never get it. It'd be. Can you imagine having a 14-inch? I mean, it just what do you do? You'd never be able to get it.
First off, you don't have enough blood in your body to fucking make that thing.
You just gotta beat it till it gets black and blue and swells up.
I'm lightheaded.
Oh, geez. I think because I'm just going back on what you said. Like, he got dropped badly in the 12th against Wilder.
Did he not?
No, he did. I'm simply saying though, do we start going instead of giving him a 10-8 round, give him a 10-8.5 for like the ones where they're not dropped like that badly?
First off, there is no halves.
I'm saying, John, I'm going back to the claim of I want halves.
Yeah, I know you want halves. Now you want halves in boxing.
Yeah, I do. Because some knockdowns don't deserve a full point.
Well, I agree. Look at
if you step on my foot and hit me, and then I start to go down, my glove hits the glove.
But that's different.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, it shouldn't count, but sometimes it does.
It shouldn't count. Yeah,
but sometimes it does. It should be a 10.5 then.
If you step on the person's foot and they're going down, doesn't matter if you hit them or not.
If our feet get tangled a little bit,
it's a slip.
If our feet get tangled a little bit and I fall, it should be a 10.5 then. If it's
you stop tangling your feet there.
Look, southpaw versus conventional, it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
No, that's stepping on the foot.
It can be, but you can still get the foot. The guy can step behind.
Step behind it.
Yeah. I got a lot of knowledge up here. I'm pretty tricky in there. I mean, go back to the Bobby Green interview. He's like, "Yo, man, you were one of the smartest fighters ever fought." I was like, you know what? I mean, not many people have said that about me, but I'm glad you recognize. All right. Look, John, if you were to put money down on this fight, what would you would go with Tyson Fury? And how would you go with Tyson Fury? Decision or finish?
I would go with Tyson Fury decision.
Decision?
Yeah.
Usyk's just too slick.
Tough. It's going to be hard to hit. He's tough. He takes a good shot. But I would think that Tyson Fury by decision. All
right. Well, hey, we had two special guests on today, and we wanted to, John, go ahead and lead us into this interview. But man, we were awesome. It was awesome to get back together with two of my closest friends. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how close you were with both of them. I know you were close with one of them, and the other one you ref some of his fights. But man, it was a privilege to have them on the show. They've got a big event coming up, and John, go ahead, man. Do the rest of this. This is
ladies and gentlemen, we are lucky enough to have on one of the greatest promoters of any type of combat sports there is, Mr. Scott Coker, and his new partner, El Nino, Mr. Gilbert Melendez. All right, we are now lucky enough to have with us two absolute savages, one in the cage, one outside of the cage. We've got the man, the myth, the legend, Scott Coker, who has been promoting since Jesus was walking the earth just about. And we've got the man, Gilbert Melendez, who you all know has had an incredible, and if you've never watched it, you got to go watch the trilogy between Gilbert Melendez and my man, Josh Thomson. One of the best trilogies there's ever been in the sport of MMA. All of them promoted by Mr. Scott Coker. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Happy to be here, guys.
Yeah, doing really good. Happy to be here as well.
Gilbert, what is it like actually being here You're not talking about your fights. You're talking about other people's fights. You are now actually partnered up with Scott Coker in the promotion business, something that you should have a pretty good knowledge about one half of it, but on the other half, you got a lot to learn from one of the best.
John, I love hearing you say that, man. Just to work alongside Scott Coker, one of the best promoters in combat sports history. I mean, he really did amazing things for my career, Josh's career, the whole Bay Area, internationally. I mean, it goes on and on. So, I'm a white belt again at something, right? I'm a white belt again.
Hey,
I'm like that white. I'm like that white belt. Yeah, I'm a white belt with that wrestling experience, right? So I do have some experience, and I've been around, but I've been learning a lot, and hopefully I become a savage outside the cage, just like Scott Coker here. But I'll tell you what, it's been exciting. It's been exciting just trying to lift up Bay Area fighters and really trying to include all the gyms and revive what we ignited back in 2000. And what was that, Scott, when we started 2006 in California, when you ignited that flame in the Bay Area? Like, we want to reignite that, and I'm really super excited about doing that and being a part of it.
Well, I know we've had a relationship a long time. You guys have had a relationship for a long time. But how did this get rekindled, though, and the talks and the conversations come about in starting this new promotion?
Yeah, I can answer that. I mean, Gilbert and I, talk quite often, and I would say over the last year, he was really on me about, hey, I really want to, start, getting my feet wet in the fight promotion business, and I want to do this and I want to do that, and he has a lot of goals, a lot of aspirations to, take his career outside of fighting, which people know him for. So, and I'm coming off of the Viacom situation and deciding, hey, what am I going to do? And do I want to do nothing? Do I want to do another fight promotion company? Do I want to go work for another company? And, I thought about it, and I said, okay, you know what? I think this would be a lot of fun. Because if he wants to do it, I want to show him how to do it and how to do it right? So it's not just like me and Gilbert. It's really, and you guys all know this. It's an army of people. You need an army of people to do a fight properly, right? And I think that's something Gilbert's learning. It's like, it's not just me and him and two staff members. It's like the whole tribe has to come and get involved, and the whole community, and all the gyms, all the, everybody has to, we all have to get in alignment, get on the same page, and then press forward. And I said, okay, if you want to do it, then I want to help you. And I've been having a lot of fun with Gilbert, and we have another partner, JT, in this project. And it's really been fun getting my hands really dirty, because it's just different. And this is how I started the fight promotion business. Really is doing what we're doing now, and it feels really, really good. And I'm enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun.
Gil, did you ever do any of the kickboxing? I know that your wife did some kickboxing for Scott Coker. Were you a part of those old shows? Because I had fought early in my career in that 2004, 2005, after I'd done my first stint in the UFC. Were you part of any of his early Strikeforce kickboxing events?
I was not part of the Strikeforce kickboxing events, but I attended plenty. I seen all the people, multi-dimensional fighters, and I thought it was amazing, right? That's what was available in California, right? The only way you can go see an MMA fight was going to an Indian reservation. But I did a lot of smokers and stuff like that. But once I jumped into MMA, and as you all know, it was early in the game. So I was just two-dimensional, a wrestler and a jiu-jitsu guy. And I built my striking as I went on. But I definitely saw people like you. I saw my wife compete, and I seen Raymond Daniels in there competing. There was a lot of amazing talent, coming out of California, and people that are still involved in the game.
Do you feel like, Scott, that's a little bit of that kind of the resurgence of how you started Strikeforce, starting off at the smaller venues again and just kind of grown it from the ground up? That's kind of what the Bay Area needs right now. We were known for some of the best fighters, from Frank Shamrock, Brian Johnson, Gilbert Melendez, Jake Shields. I mean, we had so many top-level fighters coming out of the Bay. I feel like it's kind of fallen off since us old people have gotten older. So now it's kind of Gilbert being one of the gyms to rebuild them. And he's got such great talent coming out of his gym himself. Do you feel like that's the beginning now of where you started?
I mean, that's a big question, but listen, the Bay Area has always had talent, right?
Yeah.
and you need somebody to bring them in and cultivate them and grow them and simmer them and help them get to their next launching point, right? And that's really what this is about. Because when Gilbert and I talked, I said, okay, I'm going to go around to all the gyms. So I went to all the gyms. I went to CSA, talked to Kurian. I went to Crew Sam's gym. I went to like Muay Thai gyms, hardcore Muay Thai gyms, hardcore MMA gyms, hardcore. I went to talk to Ron Kessler at AKA and talked to Javier. I went to probably, there's probably about 10 hardcore fight gyms in the Bay Area. I went to talk to all of them. And really the need was this. The need was these guys all get stuck after their amateur career, right? So they finish their amateur fights and then they have a hard time like, okay, there's only so many leagues that can take so many people, right? So there's a lot of talent that I said, okay, identified. And these guys could be the next big stars of the Bay Area or the big stars in the U.S. or international. They just need an opportunity. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You guys know how, until you get into the ring or get into the cage. But I said, let's go give these guys a chance, just like we did Kung Lee, just like we did Josh Thomson, just like we did, I'm talking about pre-Strikeforce MMA. So, let's give these guys an opportunity. And then I said to myself, look, striking is making a resurgence, as you guys know. But I love the striking. I love kickboxing too. So I said, well, let's just do a MMA and kickboxing hybrid show. Gives all the gyms the ability to participate. And, I'm really happy that we did because it creates a little bit of excitement in the kickboxing and the Muay Thai community, which surprisingly is a lot different than the MMA community. It's a much different, it's a lot different. I don't have enough time to explain it, but sometimes there's crossover, but sometimes they're just very isolated doing their own thing. So, in a way, yes, we're going back to, like say before the Strikeforce MMA started, but Josh, as you know, it's like, once MMA came in, it's never going away, right? So you have to integrate both, and really we're looking just like we did the Strikeforce Challengers, man. We're looking for the next diamond in the rough, right? Who's going to be the next star here? Who's going to be the next big thing in MMA or kickboxing?
So right now, since you're saying you're going to be doing not only MMA but kickboxing in Bellator, when you were there, you did have Bellator kickboxing. And you had this phenomenal system of raising the cage and putting in the ropes and then dropping the cage down on top of it. Are you going to do all of your fights in a cage? Are you going to mix it up with the cage and the ring like you've done in the past? And are you going to do kickboxing gloves and MMA gloves, both with the Muay Thai or kickboxing competition?
Yeah, basically the fights are all going to be in a 24 by 24 ring. Just like you go to Japan, just like Pride. And let me just rewind the history of this ring, because when we started the application and the process of getting the first MMA fight in the state of California, and I went to Armando Garcia. I said I want the first license because, look, I have been a fight promoter here for 22 years, and this is in 2006. You can't give it to UFC. You can't give it to this, but you can't give it to anybody. You got to give it to me because I'm licensed here. And he fought me on it, and so finally he gives it to me. And so I said, okay, we're gonna do a ring. He says, oh no, you can't do that. I said, what? He said, no, you can't do that. And I said, in his fashion, he's like, that's against the rules. I said, why is it against the rules? Every fight sport that I know of, right, outside the UFC is in a ring. I said, look at wrestling, look at boxing, look at what they're doing in Japan. Why does it just have to be in a cage? Anyway, he fought me for it for about 2 weeks, and so finally he gave me an ultimatum. He said, look, if you want to go first, it has to be in a cage. Right? If you want to go second, you could do it in a ring. You'll have time to get approved. I said, no, we got to go first. So that's how Strikeforce ended up in a cage. And that's the history of why Strikeforce was in a cage for so long. But really, that was not my original position. I love seeing MMA in those, like through the ropes like you see in Japan. To me, you can see a lot clearer, and you can actually see what's going on the ground. It's just a great fan experience. So to me, it was a no-brainer going back into the ring because this was the original, fight apparatus, for MMA that we were going to do. And then, of course, we have to add the fifth rope, so it's a little different for the kickboxing and Muay Thai fighters. But I think everybody will adapt nicely.
Is the hope?
If I may, I'm a real big fan of the ring, and that's where I believe the sport originated. If anyone's a big MMA fan, you go look back and you see that this documentary called Choke with the Hicks and Gracie, and you see the very first tournament in Japan and that he went and did before UFC. And I mean, MMA like will always be in a cage, and I'm not talking bad about a cage, but I love the square. I think it's a better view. I think it totally increases the action. You can corner somebody. You have to have the art of getting out of the corner. I believe the ropes gives a little leeway to work for your takedowns, and we want to put people in the center and continue the action. I know the cage was originally there to contain fighters, so maybe it's a con that some fighters might fly out, but some people may think that's a pro and might be a little bit exciting. But I'm a big fan of the ring. I think it's a great visual, and people are going to like it.
Is the take that, like, if you go to CSA, you know, Kieran Fitzgibbon's gym, and you go to like AKA and you go to Gilbert's gym, they do a lot of Muay Thai training there. You guys do wrestling, you do kickboxing, you do jiu-jitsu, you do everything, right? Is the census that, like, if I cater to all of them on one show, that it will actually start to breed more crossover? Like, for us, like, we had Travis Johnson out of AKA. He ended up fighting MMA, you know, and he also was a really good kickboxer. Gilbert, I mean, you've got top-level kickboxers as well as MMA guys out of your gym. Do you see them start to kind of crossing over, training with the kickboxers, the MMA guys, and do the kickboxers start grappling a little bit, and then you start to develop the younger talent? Is that what you see?
Josh, absolutely. I'm so glad you said that. You know, when I look at the youth right now training at 13, 14 years old, I'm like, I think the first world champion boxer, MMA fighter, Muay Thai fighter has been born. They're out there, and grappler. I think in the future, there'll be a 25-year-old who holds a world championship in 3 different sports. So yes, it's climbing fast. I think kids are getting better. I have my MMA fighter. She's doing a Muay Thai fight. I think it's important. And if I had the opportunity to do that more, I think it's great. And as the sport evolves, and as Scott says, striking is having a resurgence. Why can't we have a card one day where there's boxing, grappling, wrestling, MMA? I mean, the options are limitless, and I really love that part of MMA, and that's why I love working with Scott, because he's a real martial artist. And when you're a real martial artist, you love all those dimensions. You know, you love all those. It feels like the old school Japan ways, like K1 and Pride. They had superstars fighting each other. They had 1 round boxing, 1 round Muay Thai, 1 round MMA. To me, that's fun MMA, and that's why I'm pumped up to team up with Scott on this stuff.
But Scott, to answer John's questions, are the MMA, not MMA, the kickboxing, the Muay Thai fights, are they going to be with MMA gloves or regular boxing gloves?
Oh no, they'll be really regular boxing gloves. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's gonna stick to the Athletic Commission rules. That's really an Andy Foster call.
Oh, it's time to change those.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's still a process that we have to go through, because we did inquire about MMA gloves fighting in the kickboxing fight, and there's a process that we still need to apply and change, because under the rules and the regulations in the state, it says that kickboxers fight with 10 and 8-ounce gloves.
That's true.
So, you know, unless we can find some 10-ounce MMA gloves floating around, you know, we have to fight with with gloves, regular boxing gloves. But I think that will change, because I think ONE FC has, you know, proven to people, hey, how exciting this is when you see those really great Muay Thai fighters fighting with little gloves. It's been pretty exciting to watch ONE FC. So I think that people are going to follow suit. I'm excited to see how long it will take. But, you know, hopefully by, you know, the next fight card that we put together, we can have a hybrid show where, you know, the fighters have the choice. You want to go traditional kickboxing, and then do it with the gloves. If you don't, you want to do MMA gloves, then we can provide that too.
You would think it wouldn't be long, right, John, with the legalization pretty much a bare knuckle here in California?
I think it'd be easy. All you got to do is ask for it, and it'll come.
Yeah. I think because bare knuckles.
Yeah. No, and we did ask for it. It's just a process. Yeah. So we had to go through the process of doing it. And Corey Schaefer's helping us out, and Andy's been great to work with. He's been really, really helpful in this event. So, you know, give us another couple months. I think we could probably get it done.
Well, let's talk about, you know, one of the things that you did in Bellator, you did it in Strikeforce, was you took sometimes homegrown talent, people that had never even had a professional fight, gave them their first professional fight on your platform, and those people became superstars. Well, this fight night at the Tech that you have, your main event has got a guy that was in Bellator, Bobby the Humble Warrior Serrano. He is absolutely just a beautiful martial artist, a guy who is a fantastic fighter, and the sweetest guy there is on the planet. So it seems to me that you're going after doing the same thing, taking somebody that is not well known and you're going to start to try to build these guys into the superstars that you've built other people in the past.
Yeah, John, that is the goal. And unfortunately, Bobby did get injured, so
he's out.
He's not going to be
I
fighting.
did
He's
not
out.
know that.
No, listen. It happens in this
Yeah, it
business,
does.
right? Things happen. He just got it, and so he's going to be off the card. But his opponent that he was scheduled to fight will be fighting. And again, it goes back down to this. It's like, look, I don't think anybody, and I'm not, you know me, I'm not like some guy out there tooting my own horn, but I don't think anybody has had the success, let's say, in star identification, star building, how we process these athletes and how we get them to the next level. And really, when I was working for Japan in K1, it was probably some of the best years of my promotional career life, working with Mr. Ishii, who was the founder of K1. And just watching him, how he started picking his athletes. Yeah, did he have the great fighters that he did? He sure did. But he also had the knack of picking people that he felt like, oh, this guy is going to be a big star for us. Like this guy's, and what is it that we're looking for? And I just asked him, what is it that you look for? And he said, well, basically, what is their persona? Like, what kind of character are they, or how do they look? How do they speak? Do they have that X factor? And the X factor is something you can't put your finger on it, right? And it's just something, either they have it or they don't. It's like, either if a great fighter has that X factor, then he becomes the next big star, right? And you don't know, because, sitting with Daniel Cormier, and the very first time I sat down with DC, and Bob Cook, who brought DC to me, and he had no fights, came off wrestling, and I remember talking to him. I said, this guy should be a commentator. I mean, are you sure you want to fight? He's like, no, I want to fight. And Bob's like, yeah, he wants to fight. I'm like, okay, well, I had my doubts, because I was like, I don't know. But he had this charisma about him, and he had this personality about him, and I knew he could wrestle, right? I said, Bob, can he fight? And he said, I don't know, but he can wrestle. I said, okay, let's give him a shot.
The battle,
right? Yeah, and then the same thing with guys like T Wood or Luke Rockhold, or even Javier Mendez said, hey, you got to go check this kid out. He's fighting at Tachi Palace. He's a great fighter. You got to sign this kid. And it turned out to be Gilbert Melendez, right? It's like Bob and Javier have been really so instrumental in helping build like the next big stars, because it wasn't just an AKA. Like Josh was there for a long time. He kickboxed for me, and so we had a relationship already. But some of these other fighters, we didn't even know who they were. And so we did the same thing here, and well, not here, but with the same thing when I was in Bellator was, okay, AJ McKee, he's got that X factor, right? He's got to have that swagger about him. He's got a good-looking kid, built, had that swagger, can talk. Dad can sure talk, right? But it's anyway. But Usman Nurmagomedov, I told Mike Colgan, Mike, go sign him. Mike, go sign him. I bugged Mike for 2-3 weeks to go sign him, and we were just starting our relationship with Ali Abdulaziz, so it wasn't that easy. So finally, we reeled him in. But really, it was Javier Mendez coming to me saying, hey, you got to go sign Usman, this kid. And Josh said to me, you got to go sign this kid, right? So when you hear it over and over and over, but if you look at the beginning of Strikeforce, right, the pillars, right, you have Frank, Kung, Josh, Gilbert, Gina Carano, right? It's like they all had, a super good look about them. They're all in shape. They all could speak, and they all had the ability to fight. And also they had that X factor. Like, you can't put your finger on it. It's like, they either have it or they don't. And sometimes it grows, sometimes it doesn't. And really that's been the success formula, is something I learned from Japan early on, and I think it's been very, very helpful. And John, you're right. We are going to find Gilbert, myself, and this company. We're going to go find the next big stars, in our area, and maybe even, this can go beyond that. But for right now, like, there are fighters here that will be savages in the sport in the future. Gilbert's seen it. Gilbert, he has some of them, actually. So he has a couple of fighters that are just beasts.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Look, from a promoter standpoint, he's looking for one thing, but look, for you being someone that can just see talent because you've been involved with so many talented fighters, from Jake Shields to Nate and Nick Diaz, like you know what someone needs to have when they step inside that cage. Who have you seen outside the Bay Area, or in the Bay Area, I should say? You know, I mean, like for me, I looked at Cerrone and I'm like, man, this guy can fight. This kid's action. He's nonstop. He pushes himself so hard. That's what you're looking for from a promoter standpoint. But what are you looking for, though, as somebody that has done it already?
Yeah, myself, back to that Cerrone and his opponent, Carlos Murdo, it was going to be a fantastic fight. But with Cerrone stepping out, what's so cool is he has a teammate, Juan Mora. He's 2-0 as a fighter, too. The same kind of style. He's going to be stepping up for his teammate. So to me, that's a great matchup as well. So the opponent for Cerrone, like, one of the big things that I'm proud of is these matchups, there's no give me, right? There's no gimme matchups. Like Cerrone, he's obviously a star. He has the look. He's a stud. He sells a lot of tickets, a big support. His opponent was Nails, man, a Brazilian that resides in San Jose, who built his own gym out there and has a good community. It was great. So that fight's still going to be good if it happens, but Juan Mora step in. That's going to be a great fight. When you're looking at young kids, there's a guy by the name of Dominic Ducharme. His dad, he's a Pac-10 wrestler. His dad was the first black belt of Dave Terrell. We used to call him Nasty Nate. And his guy was a beast. He could only see out of one eye, so he couldn't fight in California. And for those who don't know who Dave Terrell is, that's Cesar Gracie's first black belt. So this is kind of our lineage. And it's interesting to see these fighters who started at 12 years old or straight out of the womb that have been training now, right? Like, we wish we had that, right? That your dad was a black belt under Dave Terrell, the first black belt, finished his wrestling career. Now he's going to be fighting for us. It's going to be his second professional fight. He's done his amateur, and he's fighting another 1-0 guy, Joe Thorough. And he's at Dark Horse. I think that's Dave Velasquez's gym. I'm not too sure. Is that who it is? Right?
Yep, it is.
And he's an OG too. So he's bringing up this long, lanky fighter who's like 10 amateur fights, 1-0 as a pro. And, they're still raw, but they're both like aggressive fighters. So, their levels will keep growing, but the matchup is perfect. And I think that's what I'm also proud of, right? Like these no give me matchups. And those are two guys I'm looking for. I got some amateurs that are really good. Antonio Vasquez against AKAs. Andrew Campos, 6-1 versus 5-0. I want some bragging rights. It gets to show my coaching skills. And I got this young badass Gaishin Jones from Oakland. He's taking on a guy named Moses Gomez, from Stockton area. We got NDA on the card. Jessica Rose Clark's on there too. A lot of good fights, man. I know all these fights and I'm excited to see them all fight.
So when you sat down with Scott for the first time, what was the conversation like? I mean, maybe we should let Scott get off the call, then you come back and we'll talk about it.
Hold on. I'll tell you what the conversation
was
was like. It was like, Scott, I'd really like to do this. Well, you're going to just sit there and watch them because I'm the man and I'm going to teach you how.
Well, every time you ask Scott this question, you say, hey, Scott, I want to get in the promoting business. His answer is, be ready to lose a lot of money, right? That's always his answer.
That's always his answer. You're right.
That was his answer, right? For 8 years or for years. And then I kept, hitting him up and then finally, like, that wasn't his answer. It was like, well, maybe, so I was like, wait, maybe we're breaking through here.
You're breaking it down.
And like, yeah, and the same thing, like, Josh, we all know Scott's our promoter. He brought us up. Yeah. He brought us up from scratch, and the connection is there. And there's a lot of promoters out there, but there's not one who's brought me up and has taken care of me the way Scott has and really guided me and provided me with a good life, man. And I sit on my deck at my house and I go, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Strikeforce sometimes. And thank you, Josh Thomson. And
pound it, brother, pound it.
Yeah, what's up, so, but that was it, man. Just, I want to team up with someone, that I believe in and, like we're horses he bet on. He's the horse I'd bet on in this game. So I'm excited to be an apprentice, to learn from him. And by him choosing me, I feel like I've been validated in the sport even more, and I'm excited for this new venture.
On your side, Gilbert, what's your vision though? I mean, like, hey, we're going to get through this show. We're going to have great fights that night. But what's your vision moving forward? Like, where do you see this growing into?
Yeah, I mean, the goal, I think, in business is always to make some sort of magic, right? You want to make magic, and that's important before, trying to get rich and everything. But I want to do something different with Scott, right? There's a lot that needs to be done, when you talk to a commission about doing things. But you guys are hitting it on, right? Like, the sport's evolving. We don't want to just see just MMA. We love Muay Thai. If we love jiu-jitsu, we love wrestling. We love different dimensions of the sport. Like, who's just the better boxer? Why not have like a whole medley of fighter, one matchup fight everything? A whole dimension. And I mean the possibilities are endless. But mainly just building this next talent. And as Scott said, there's a lot of great talent out here who has to pivot and become a fireman, become a construction worker because, their road has ended because there's no opportunity. And the real goal is to give opportunity. And then we got to stay fluid because you don't know what, like Scott said, you get a star, we're going to run with it. We're going to see where these fighters lead us.
And then, Scott, what's your vision? I know outside of the Bay, out of just doing this promotion, is there a vision to take it to the East Coast, take it to Florida, Texas area, up in the mid East? Like, what are you thinking?
Josh, that's still to be determined. I will say this: we've had a couple opportunities. Phones been ringing about bringing this format to different towns and different cities across the country. So we'll see. But I really want to get through this fight. And then sit down with Gilbert and JT and say, hey guys, here's the opportunities. What do you guys want to do? Because I want to make sure we're all set in alignment. Everybody, is still wanting to move forward with this. Because it's one thing to do it in the Bay Area, and you guys know this. When you start traveling and you start the commitment it takes to travel, and all these other people. Gilbert has successful gyms and he has commentating and he's has his own brand already. So to me, it's like it's going to be a matter of hey, how far do you want to take this, right? And we'll figure that out, maybe at the end of the month.
Scott, how important was it when you went to work for Bellator? You actually were now, instead of like at Strikeforce, you were the man, you were the person in charge. So everything, either you got all the kudos and you got the blame too because you were the guy that was running everything. You go to Bellator, you had bosses to work for. How important was it for you after that experience to get back to being your own boss?
Yeah, I mean, John, honestly, that was a conversation that, I had with my family and really internally, I had this conversation and dialogue going in my head as I was negotiating, the final stages of my exit at Viacom. I met with Don and I met with Peter, seemed like very good guys, and, they have their vision, they have their thing. But I kept feeling like, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, right? And so the stint I had at Bellator was the first time I actually had a, like Kevin Kay to report to, or a Wade Davis to report to, or Bob Backish, like, hey, these are all super, amazing people to have relationships with. But, I really was heading in a completely different direction when I came off my 3-year non-compete with Strikeforce selling into the UFC. And I said, okay, I'm going down this path. And I sat down with Kevin Kay, and that was my mistake. That was my mistake. He was such a nice guy. And he was so engaged, and he was so passionate about it. It made me go, maybe I should, I felt like maybe I should go help them, right? Because Bellator, as you know, John, back then it was like, it was a Titanic ready to tip, right? And so I was like, it's like, and I said, I remember sitting down with Kevin, and I said, Kevin, I don't even know I can help you. I like your ship might have tilted to the point where I don't even know if I could come in and save the day for you, right? And then he just kept on me. We met again, and then finally I woke up one day and I was in San Diego on vacation. And I said, you know what? F it. Let's go, man. Let's see what I can do with Kevin. The guy's passionate. He's the success that he's had, not just with the Ultimate Fighter and greenlighting that show, but his SpongeBob success, his Yellowstone, success. I mean, the guy is a hit maker, right? So I said, okay, I've always heard his name but I really dug his vibe, right? And I said, I'm going to get behind this dude. And then we went for it, man. And then we huddled up and we went for it. But, Kevin, I think he left Viacom around 2018, reported to Wade Davis, and he left. And then it started changing over there. And you're in this big vortex of this media company. And you're just one, little bolt, of the whole enterprise. So then it became, then we started working with Showtime and this and John, let's face it, we were jumping from network to network to network to network inside that company, right? Oh. And the whole time we're building this brand, right? Hey, if you compare our social following to even PFL or anybody, I mean, except for the UFC, I think it's pretty amazing what we built in the last 4 or 5 years. And then look at the fighter roster, right? And the fighter roster was unbelievable. So we built a great brand. We built great fighters. We built great social following. And so we had something of value. And when you create something of value, then, hey, other people want it, right? Other people want those fighters. And other people want that social following. Other people want what you've built. And so, the situation that Viacom was in, or Paramount was in, they wanted to, I think they wanted to kind of get outside of the combat sports and get back to just pure entertainment. Look what they did with boxing after, 1986 was the first Showtime boxing fight. And I watched that fight, that event. And I've been following it for so many decades. And to see it go away, that broke my heart too. And then I knew that, when that was on the table, kind of getting shaky, and then, Bellator, I said, oh, they want out of the combat sports. And so that's what they did. And they just had to, consolidate and get in alignment with what their core values and their core business goals were. And hey, you can't blame them for it, but it's something that I'm glad that this next go around, I said, hey, I'm, if I wanted a job, John, I could have had 3 or 4 different opportunities already. Right. So to me, it's like, I want to be an entrepreneur like I was before, because it's not just before, Strikeforce. John, you're talking when I first started my kickboxing business in 1985, by the way. It's been a long journey, right? These are all like, hey, I got my $7,000. I put my deposit at the San Jose Civic Auditorium. I went out and I hustled tickets, and like that's I used to sit there with a graphic artist, used to make the posters, and I mean from everything from ticketing to marketing to selling of the stools and gyms and matchmaking. I mean, it's like it was a one-stop shop. But we had help because my instructor Ernie Reyes was a partner at the time. We had other partners. Eventually, I bought them all out. But I've been an entrepreneur since probably ever since I was like a junior in high school was the last time I had a job. And this is a funny story, John. When I signed the deal with Kevin, I signed this contract with Viacom about 2 inches thick, right? So sign my life away. Let's go. I get a call from HR, and I'm like, well, what do you guys do? And he goes, oh, we're the guys that keep everything, the ship in order. We're going to send you a job application. Can you please fill it out? And I said,
I already got the job.
What do you mean? I got a job. Like it's, he goes, no. They're supposed to give you an application. You fill it out, and then they have to post it, and then they have to get 4 candidates, and then the best candidates get the job, right? I said, oh, this is funny because we've already made the deal and it was already down the road. But I looked at this job application and I'm like, okay, where did you go to high school? Where did you go to college? Where bank references, friend references, college references? I'm like, this is like, I haven't filled out a job application since I was a junior in high school. So to me, I've always been an entrepreneur. I guess that's my point, is that I've always been an entrepreneur, and it feels great to go back and have, that it's, the sense of freedom, right? And believe me, even with Bellator, they gave me a lot of freedom, right? We made a lot of moves, we did a lot of things, and we ran it the way that we wanted to run it for the most part until, let's say, the last 2 or 3 years. But for the first 6 years, we were on our way to building, something great. And then things change, and then things change, and I think we did a great job, and the best job that we could do under the current circumstances. And I think that our product and our fighters, which is our product at the end of the day, will prove it.
Let me ask one more question. I'm going to give Gilbert the ability to say this, even though he might not have the same thing. You built an incredible roster with Strikeforce, and that played out when Zuffa bought Strikeforce. You look at Gilbert came in, he lost a split decision to the then champion in Benson Henderson, but Luke Rockhold became a champion. You know, Daniel Cormier, all these guys. Roster for roster, when it sold, which was better, Strikeforce or Bellator's that you built? Gotta know. Gotta know.
It's easy, Strikeforce.
I knew you would say that. I knew you would
Simple,
say that.
easy.
See? Go ahead.
Yeah, but let's let Scott let Scott be non-biased here and say what he has to say.
I honestly like. Scott, go ahead.
I love all my children. Okay,
I
I love all my children.
This guy, that's the PC, the political way. No, honestly though, look, I know we had a really great roster at Strikeforce. I thought it was a stacked roster, but I feel like that last 2 years at Bellator, they had built something. I don't think they hadn't laid the groundwork, obviously, that we had laid with Strikeforce, getting it and blowing it up the way that it was blowing up. But I really believe that and also too, just to compare, just the fighters are just way different now, and to see the levels of which they can compete is just remarkable. And so I gotta say that roster, the Bellator roster at the end, was the better roster. But yeah, I know it's a jab at me and Gil and everyone else, but look, honestly, they are a stacked group, and I wish them nothing but success, man. They're a good, and they're a really good group of fighters.
Yeah,
too.
they're nice. They're good people, man. They're good people, and Strikeforce was great people too. For the most part,
absolutely.
Right?
Do you remember that? You remember that heavyweight division, that last heavyweight division Scott built, man, with that heavyweight Grand Prix, the best heavyweights in the world, like 15 of them. Daniel Cormier was like the alternate, and he won it. And Josh Barnett was there. I remember running outside after I fought to go sit and watch front row. I was like, I'm gonna go watch Fedor fight. You know, man, that heavyweight division was like. Man, nothing that I've ever seen before. Maybe the beginning of heavyweight pride. Maybe, but I mean that heavyweight division, we were right there, man. It was on another level, but yeah.
The UFC didn't have any heavyweights. I mean, they had Kane and and then Brock was kind of in that mix, right, at the moment, or he had just left. So it was kind of that.
He hadn't come yet.
Yeah, he hadn't come. So like during that time, Kane was like pretty much their only heavyweight that they had, and then Strikeforce had all the best heavyweights at the time.
and to me the best lightweights, boys. Let's be honest.
There it is. There it is. Right there.
And listen, we had look at our middleweight division. We had Nick Diaz, we had Paul Daly, a young Paul Daly. We had killers in every weight class, I think. And the heavyweight, I believe the heavyweight division is what made the phone ring, right?
No doubt.
It's like, we can't let these guys get too far down the road with this thing, because it was garnishing a lot of attention back then, right? Because, Strikeforce was a small little company doing 4 fights a year in the Bay Area. And then all of a sudden, it buys Pro Elite. Now we're 16 fights a year all over the country. And we signed Fedor. And that was the game changer, having a Fedor on the roster. And then we started, we had Alistair Overeem. We had, Josh Barnett. We had like all those, that heavyweight division, to me, I think since Pride, there hasn't been that group of fighters like in a company like we did when we put together the Strikeforce heavyweight tournament. That was a game changer.
Well, let me ask you this then. So is that your ticket, or is that what you guys are looking to try and do with these new promotions? Who is going to be your Fedor signing? Are you looking to sign fighters that have come off of, from another organization that you guys has a little bit of star power already, and then are you guys only looking to try to build up the young talent?
I mean, Gilbert and I really haven't discussed like to what extent are we going to bring in outside talent. But my goal, and again, this is we got to talk it over, is we have so much opportunity here in the Bay Area with the Bay Area talent, right? And if we go to different cities, Josh, every city is going to have, I would say that person that is not somewhere, but it's like, why isn't this person there? Why? Or we might see something in them that maybe somebody else didn't see in them, and then sign them. And again, once you sign them, that's the first part. And then you got to cultivate them, and you got to simmer, and you got to build them, and you got to do it the right way. And that's something I think we do better than anybody else on the planet. I mean, I don't know of any other company that has built that many fighters, that many superstars from the ground up than we did in Strikeforce, we did in Bellator, and we're going to do again here, right? So to me, we're gonna, if we go around the country doing this, we'll find those athletes that are that fell between the cracks and give them opportunities. But the Bay Area, we're gonna have our hands full, because if we do this three times a year, it's gonna be time consuming, and Gilbert's gonna be very busy. By the way,
Gilbert can handle
Wife,
it.
daughter, gym, promotion, bro.
I'm young.
You got a lot on your plate, buddy. You got a lot on your plate, Gil.
Yeah, I'm young, but I'm learning a lot from Scott. But I will say this, Josh, I fought 9 times at the SAP Center. I don't know how many times you fought there, but some fans went on the whole ride with me every single fight. They didn't know who I was at that time, and they just kind of saw me, and they went along on the ride. Till we fought 3 times, they went along the ride, and that's what we want to do. We want all the fans to come along on the ride again for these next generation of fighters, and we'll identify them there. They'll see them, and we'll win them over. They'll win them over just like we did, and then we're gonna try to replicate what we did, brother. And we'll have some stars out there doing it. Who knows? Hopefully, it's one of my guys. We're fighting. My guy's fighting Andrew Camp. Who maybe this is the first of 4. Who knows? But we want people to come on the ride now, because we have some talent out here, right?
Hey guys, this is history right here, because honestly, I'll tell you, these 2 guys, there's some things on TV that don't translate when you're there live. Oh. But this is the most exciting trilogy, I think, in the sport ever. And when you can see it there live and you're watching it unfold, and you could hear everything, and you could hear the dialogue in the corner and the rounds, and it's like it was really a very special moment in time, man. And I got to give my hats off to you guys, because that trilogy was unbelievable, and it was really, I think, it helped elevate our company to the next level. So thank you, guys. Thank you, both of you guys.
I will tell.
Well, when we move a little bit more forward, when you guys start to do grappling matches, Gil and I will do a grappling match against each other.
Anything you want, Josh. Anything you want, bro.
Here we go.
I'll tell you what. The second one, I was there as a referee, but Josh Rosenthal was the referee for that, because I had the main event. You guys weren't the main event. It was one of the best fights I've ever seen. Look, I've seen, thousands upon thousands of fights. That fight, both of you, were absolutely incredible. And I don't like to say that with Josh on here, because his head starts to swell up and everything. You guys, when you talk about action in a fight and 2 guys, at moments, it's everyone gets thrilled with the Max Holloway thing, as far as you guys were doing that back then, and just, incredible. So I will tell you, one of my favorite fights of all time. You guys were absolutely 2 of the best lightweights going at it in that show, and it was remarkable.
Appreciate that, John.
Thanks, appreciate that. So give us a breakdown on, where is the event held at, the date, and where do they get tickets at?
I'll take this one. We're going to be at the Tech CU Arena, May 18th. The prelims start at 4 p.m. 7 o'clock is the main card. Go to Ticketmaster.com. Man, Scott, do we have any suites left? Do we have any VIP left? I think we might be almost out of that. So just jump on Ticketmaster and come join the party right away, man. It's going to be a great time.
What time are the doors open?
It's going to open at 3:30.
First fight at
3:30?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Okay. Well, I know this. If you've been Gilbert, one of the things that you will learn as far as promoting with Mr. Scott Coker is he doesn't give any damn tickets away. Okay? He does not give tickets away to anything. So if you got people out there, don't think you're going to get a free one. Go buy one at Ticketmaster right now, because I know it's going to be one hell of a show.
I can't let you guys get off this show, though. I got to ask you, though, Gil, you got one of your buddies coming up. He's fighting Nate Diaz. He's going to be fighting Masvidal. This is a big card, man. I've seen the card. Chris Avila is also on the card as well. I mean, he's a dog, too. He's just fun to watch fight. I love watching both Nate and him fight. Talk to me a little bit. I know they moved the date. It's going to be July 6th now, I believe, and it's going to be at the Anaheim Arena, not at the Forum anymore. Give me some details on, on how he's been looking and on how Nate's been looking and your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I went to go see Nate in Stockton about a week and a half ago. He has one of his young amateurs fighting on the card on our show, which is Rome. And I had the opportunity just to hang out and talk as always and watch him spar. And Nate's looking big. He has pop on his punch. You know, he's a cardio machine, and he's still far out. And, you know, I think his matchup with Masvidal is a great matchup. Masvidal is that street fighting, straight punch guy. But where Nate shines is in the boxing ring, where you can push forward, don't have to get worried about getting taken down, don't have to worry about getting kneed or kicked. Just he's going to have that forehead-to-forehead pressure. I think he's really going to test the courage if Masvidal really see what he has in the tank when they're forehead-to-forehead, if he's going to take a knee or he's going to push forward with them. But Nate's a cardio machine. I think in the boxing he's going to do well. And Chris Avila, man, I mean, he beat up Jeremy Stevens, dude, and he's a great boxer, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people, and I think he's going to take out Pettis. He's going to outbox him, outpressure him, man. I've been there. I've seen him spar my guy Hyder Emil, and these he can scrap out there. So I think we're in for a great card out there. I think, you know, hopefully after we're done here, Nate's going to be at our show. We're going to go out there and check his out afterwards.
Nice. Scott, you promoted both these guys, Masvidal and Nate. You know, you didn't have Nate very long, I think just for the 1 or 2 fights, but then you also did Masvidal for several fights. Him and I were supposed to slated to fight a couple of times. Gil did fight him. You know, what's your take? I know both of them have obviously developed and blossomed into just animals and obviously future legends in the sport, or are legends now. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I just think it's going to be a fun fight to watch. It's going to be entertaining. I think that these are two fighters that are going to go into the center of the ring, and they're going to just do it, you know, because there's not going to be any dancing around or trying to, you know, stall. Or these guys are warriors. So I think that you're going to see a really entertaining fight in July.
All right. Well, hey, guys, make sure you guys tune in on May 18th. Not tune in, but make sure you guys pick up your tickets for May 18th at the TechCU Arena. And then this arena, is it located where's it located at? In San Jose, or is it in South San Francisco?
No.
Where is it at?
I think I can explain it. It's on 10th Street in San Jose. It's about 2 miles from the SAP. And the Sharks built it as a auxiliary center for concerts and for different events. It holds about 5,000 people. And the amazing thing about it, Josh, is when you walk into this building, you'll feel like you're at the San Jose Arena. It's that nice, right? Jeez. Everything's brand new. This is the first fighting event in the history of the building. And just like we opened SAP, we're opening up the tech building, and nice. It's a miniature version of SAP put inside, and they they're going to start booking it more. There's different, like I saw the Globetrotters there. I've seen the Barracudas play there. I've seen there's a concert here or there, but you know they're gonna use our event as kind of like the testing ground as to how the operations work, and it's going to be a fun night. And again, it's, you know, at 4 p.m. our prelims start, but at 7 p.m. it's the main card, and that's kind of the time frame. And it's on 10th Street, and it's right next to San Jose Ice, where the Sharks practice, and they hold all their scrimmages and everything. So we were in there the other day with Gil and Mike Ritchie and Joe Thornton were there training the team, the Sharks team, nice. A couple months ago, and they're giving value and giving back to the team, and so this is kind of where they practice and do their thing. But it's a beautiful arena, and it's got beautiful suites in there too, and it's nice. been a great experience to work with the same crew as SAP, because the same crew manages this building as well. So it's the same family, and we're gonna keep putting our foot to the floor until the fight's over on the 18th.
All right, guys, fight night at the Tech. May 18th, TechCU Arena, and the gates open at 3:30. First fight starts at 4. Don't miss it. Pick up your tickets.
Hey, for everyone out there, if you are in the Bay Area, go get those tickets. I am manifesting a sellout for you two on your first show, just like you did with Strike Force. There's Scott setting the North American record for that many people for the first MMA show in California. I just want to tell you, thank you so much for everything you've done in the sport. Gil, thank you for everything you've done as a fighter, as a trainer, everything. You're both fantastic. Thank you for being on the Weighing In podcast.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, Josh, I think that they're going to have a great promotion. They're going to have a promotion that people in the Bay Area are going to love. The fighters are going to love it, especially the fact that they're not only going to do MMA, they're going to do the kickboxing, which I think is a big, important thing, especially with some of the schools like CSA up there. You got a ton of talent, and those two guys are special in the fight game, and Coker definitely knows how to promote a fight.
Yeah, I think, look, it really just starts from anyone can throw money into a promotion and just lose it.
Yeah.
And you can tell that right now he's been sitting down, Scott Coker has, and brainstorming on what he can do to try to ignite all the smaller local areas. Look, that's what it's going to take. If you want to jump into the scene, into the big scene again, and start from scratch and develop your young, talented fighters, I think you're going to have to do it. Start it with the Bay Area, and then maybe go to up to Seattle area, maybe go down to the Arizona area, and then start working your way out, out east as you start to grow. Start from the West Coast because he's got home bases there. He's got a great relationship with the California Commission. He's got a pretty decent relationship with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. I know he's got a good relationship with Arizona Commission and Washington Commissions. So there's fights to be made on that West Coast, and you start growing from then on out. I mean, I know that there's I know I've got Trevor Prangley. He's got a ton of young, talented fighters that are coming up. And so he's looking for them to get busy as well. So trying to get them as busy as he possibly can is something to take into consideration. You start moving that out, and you start moving it to the East Coast, I think there's an opportunity to start building from the ground up. And that's all it's going to take, man. Now, some guys will leave. They're going to want to jump right away and try to go to, the bigger promotions. But then the ones that stay, you just know, and I know, after dealing with Coker for 20-something years, this won't be a small thing for long.
No.
He's going to try to do what he can for the next, year, maybe two, and see which cream rises to the top. And then you can just bet your bottom dollar, man, that he's going to be making a play for some sort of, network or some sort of streaming service or something to make sure that these fighters get an opportunity to get on a platform. And so good for them. I'm happy for them. This is going to be a big deal for the Bay Area. You
got to think, Josh, though, and Coker's been there and done it. And so he doesn't have to be. You get a lot of these people that come into promoting, and it's, we've got to put on this big show. We've got to have this big name fighter. We got to do these things. And they put themselves into a negative with their very first show, where now they're trying to catch up, and it's tough to catch up. He's smart enough to say, hey, I don't need that. I need certain people in certain areas that put butts in seats. And this is the one thing, I kind of said it on the thing. And look, Gil, Scott Coker doesn't give away tickets. I'm not joking, okay? Scott Coker does not give away tickets. You know that. I know that. He is frugal with tickets. If you're going to get a free ticket from Scott Coker, consider yourself lucky. He likes you. He does not give tickets. He doesn't paper seats, and you get a lot of these promotions that paper seats. You got to figure if he's able to just, if he's able to sell this thing out, he said it was 5,000 seats, and say the tickets are somewhere, $75, something like that. At $75, you're talking, what, $375,000. I mean, that's how you make things happen. You pay your fighters a good salary, something that makes them happy, something that's better than all the other little regional promotions, and they want to come back and fight for you. You have enough money that you can now put on your next show. That's the way to do it. He's smart. I think I know he's going to be a success, and I know Gilbert is going to help with that success.
Absolutely. I wish them both nothing but the best, and I'm looking forward to seeing what their fighters can do and seeing where it goes after this, because it's a big deal. The fact that they decided to merge up and try and do it in the Bay Area, and then now see where they're going to move it from moving forward. So good for them. Congratulations, and best of luck. Make sure you guys, this is going to happen on May 18th coming up. And so make sure you guys, if you guys are in the Bay Area, you guys get some tickets for the tickets at Ticketmaster, and they're available there. So check them out. Reasonably priced tickets. Enjoy. If you guys do get a chance, an opportunity to see the fights, make sure you guys leave a comment down below on how they were and what you guys' thoughts were and stuff, and how the promotion was ran. And it'd be good to get some feedback so we can get it. And that's going to wrap us up for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this show. And John, take us away.
For everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy this weekend. The UFC has got a small show, but it has got some great fights on it. Bellator has got some awesome fights, especially that patchy mix. Magomedov, you got to see those two guys go at it. And then you've got the heavyweight championship on the line with Fury against Usyk. God damn, is the combat sports world fantastic. I hope everyone out there enjoys it as much as we do, and we will see you.